Our first question today is, what do you think is the number one issue affecting residents in Lampasas?
Well, I think the number one issue is probably that we have right now is the internet, would be what I would say. We had some internet issues the last year. We were down like 4 or 5 different times, and unfortunately, it completely took down the entire town. It was hurt businesses. They couldn't, use their credit card machines. They couldn't communicate with their computer systems because the computer systems and so many of the phone lines were down. And it didn't just cause a problem with the businesses. It caused a problem with the cell phone service was also, with it not just being the internet, it was also the cell service. So with cell service being down and so many people going to cell phones, people couldn't call 911 if they had an emergency and things like that. So it is a definite issue. And the issue came from construction somewhere along the 183 corridor, I believe, cutting the one AT&T line that comes into Lampasas. And so I know that the city has really looked at what can we do to make sure this doesn't happen again. And they've talked to AT&T, and I know AT&T would have to bring in lines from the north instead of just from the south. And they've talked to a couple other companies that are coming in. And I think that the city's working in the right direction. They had a really good town hall that addressed the internet issue, and they addressed the company spoke, that one of the companies spoke that's coming in, and they also addressed water and the different water treatments and the different things about water quality and things like that. And so I think the city's done a really good job about expanding and looking at new things. But if you have just one line coming in with AT&T servicing an entire area and it takes out the entire cell service, that's definitely an issue.
And you spoke in terms of expansion. What do you think should be done by the city and the community about growth in Lampasas?
Well, growth it's a double-edged sword. It's a good thing. I think growth is a good thing because it's going to bring different things in, and we can't stop it. We're going to grow and we're going to keep going because Lampasas is really located in a good area for growth because we're on like the alternative route between Austin and the Dallas-Fort Worth Metro and San Antonio. We're kind of in the middle of all that, in the edge of the hill country, and Austin's growing north, Copper's Cove is growing west, and we have people that are coming, and I think that the city's done a good job. They've got to really look at the infrastructure and work on their infrastructure, and I think they are planning for it because since growth is going to happen, it's really important that you're ready for that and that you're ready to take that on. And when you have the infrastructure in place, and then it should be good.
You also mentioned water and water quality. Water quality is obviously an ongoing concern for people both locally and nationally.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think Lampasas has an issue with its drinking water?
Well, we've had I know that the area like Lampasas and Kempner have had some issues with water, and but a few years back they were having different issues with mains breaking, like water mains breaking and things like that. And they really but they really started working on upgrading the lines and upgrading the system and really looking at what can they do to ensure the quality of the water. And they've been very proactive, I think, the city has. I was really impressed. They've just invested in a new SCADA system, which is a system, that's an acronym, and it's a system that what it does is it allows water monitoring in at least 7 or more different locations, but it's real time, so they can monitor the quality of the water and what's happening in the water as it's happening. So if you see a fluctuation in some kind of, I guess it would be not necessarily bacteria, but different levels of different things. I'm not an expert on anything like that, but they can monitor the levels of what they need to monitor to make sure they've got the good quality. And if it's real time, then they can react to that. And I know that they're also working on, they talked about, trying to work toward eliminating the dead end lines. And because they said those dead end lines, the water doesn't circulate. So if it's not circulating through the system, it's not getting cleaned and filtered and all that stuff. And so that they have to backwash those dead end lines. And I think they've said that they have like about 7 of them, I think, that they have. And they're working as they work on the infrastructure, eliminating and rerouting those lines so that they're not dead, that they're circulating through the system.
And finally, Before residents head to the polls, what do you think residents of Lampasas should know about you before they cast their vote?
Well, I don't really have an agenda, and I've spent a lot of years in Lampasas. We've lived here since 1995, and I think it's really important to give back to your community. And through the years, I've done lots of different volunteering. I've volunteered, on Christmas on the Creek, on LAFTA. A few years back, I was involved in the Economic Development Board. We applied for the grant for the Go Texan. And the part that I was involved in that they asked me to work on is I was in the educational part of the grant. And so I really think that doing all these different things, we're a community, and a community doesn't just survive unless people are active in it and do things in it. And I think it's really important for people to take part and to serve and to give back. And so I think that, with all the years of teaching and the years that I've had, that we have our business, our little photography business on the side, I think I've learned lots of different things, and I think I can bring a lot to the table to help and give back to the community. And I think it's just my time to do that.